My cousin falsely accused me of sexual harassment at a family BBQ. My entire family abandoned me without proof. Only my girlfriend believed me. But 6 months later, she confessed the truth, and now they all want me back, but it's too late. I'm 29 years old. I work in it for a mid-sized company. And what happened about 8 months ago literally destroyed my relationship with almost my entire family. And when I say destroyed, I'm not exaggerating. Like, I went from having a normal family where we'd see each other at Christmas and birthdays to basically being dead to them in a matter of hours. All because of a lie, a fucking lie that my cousin Megan decided to make up because, I don't know, I guess she needed attention or something. I still have trouble processing it, honestly. Let me start from the beginning, so you understand the whole situation. I grew up in a pretty close-knit family, the kind where on Sundays you get together for barbecue and everyone gets along more or less well. My mom and dad are still married after like 35 years. I have a younger brother named Jake. And then there's all the extended family. Uncles, cousins, that whole thing. Megan is the daughter of my mom's sister, so my aunt Lisa. And she was always kind of a drama queen, but I never thought she'd go and do something like this. She's like 26 now, I think. And she's always been one of those people who needs to be the center of attention at any family gathering. You know what I mean? But whatever. She was family, and you tolerate those things. The thing is that in March of this year, there was a family barbecue at my parents' house. Nothing special, just close family celebrating. I don't remember what. Maybe someone's birthday or just because the weather was nice. I went with Amy, my girlfriend at the time. Well, she's still my girlfriend now, thank God, because she was literally the only person who didn't abandon me through this whole mess. Amy and I had been together for like 2 years, and she got along well with my family, or so I thought. Anyway, we got to the barbecue, everything normal. We ate, had some beers, talked about life, the usual. Megan was there with her boyfriend of the moment, a guy who seemed kind of unbearable, but I didn't even pay attention to him, honestly. At one point in the afternoon, I was in the kitchen looking for another beer in the fridge when Megan came in to get something. I don't remember what. I said hi to her, she responded. We exchanged literally 2 sentences about the weather or some stupid thing like that. And then she left, and I left like a minute later. That was it. Our entire interaction that day was that, plus the typical group conversations at the table where everyone talks at the same time. There was nothing weird, nothing out of the ordinary, nothing that made me think something was wrong. I left there around 7 inches the evening with Amy, both of us a bit tired but happy, thinking it had been a good family day. 2 days later, on a Tuesday I think it was, I was at work when my phone started exploding with messages. And when I say exploding, I mean that in like 5 minutes I got like 30 notifications. I thought something serious had happened. Like I had died or something. So I checked my phone in the middle of a meeting, which I normally never do. I had a missed call from Megan and several messages from her. I opened the messages first, and basically they said she needed to talk to me urgently, that it was very important, that please call her. I don't know why, but something in my stomach felt weird, like that feeling when you know something bad is about to happen but you don't know what. I called her on my break, like an hour later, and she answered crying. She was hysterical, literally hysterical. And between sobs she tells me that she needs me to admit what I did at the barbecue. I had no fucking idea what she was talking about, so I asked her what was wrong. If she was okay. If she needed help. And she drops on me, just like that out of nowhere, that I had cornered her in the kitchen and that I had tried to touch her inappropriately, that I had scared her, that she couldn't believe I had done that. I was literally speechless, like I couldn't process what I was hearing. I told her what the hell was she talking about, that never happened, that we weren't even alone in the kitchen for more than 2 minutes, that I hadn't touched her at all. She just kept crying and saying that I knew what I had done, that how dare I deny it, that she had been too scared to say something in the moment but that she couldn't keep quiet anymore. I hung up the phone completely shocked. I couldn't believe what had just happened. Like, it was so absurd, so completely false that my brain couldn't even begin to process why someone would make up something like that. I sent a message to Amy telling her what had just happened, and she immediately responded saying it was crazy, that obviously it was a lie, that she had been there all day and that none of that had happened. I thought that maybe Megan was having some kind of mental breakdown or something. I don't know, because there was no other logical explanation. But then, like 2 hours later, Megan sent a message to the family group chat where we all are. Literally everyone. My parents, my uncles and aunts, my cousins, Jake, everyone. The message was long and emotional, like one of those dramatic Facebook posts, saying that she needed to be brave and tell what had happened to her at Sunday's barbecue, that I had sexually harassed her in the kitchen, that I had tried to touch her, that she had been paralyzed with fear, and that's why she hadn't said anything in the moment, but that she could no longer keep the secret because it was affecting her mentally. She said she understood if the family didn't believe her, but that she needed to speak her truth and heal. Heal. As if I had done something to her when literally everything was made up. My phone exploded again. This time they were messages from my mom, my dad, Jake, my Aunt Lisa, other cousins, all asking me what the hell had happened. If it was true, how could I have done that? I tried to explain to them. I sent messages to everyone separately and in the group saying that none of that was true, that Megan was lying, that Amy had been there all day and could confirm that I was never alone with Megan for more than 2 minutes, that I hadn't even touched her. I asked that we review the cameras if my parents had any in the kitchen, even though I knew they didn't, but I was desperate to prove my innocence. The responses I received destroyed me. My Aunt Lisa sent me a message saying I was a monster, that how dare I do that to her daughter, that she had always known there was something off about me. My mom, my own mother, sent me a message saying she was very disappointed, that she needed time to process all this, that she couldn't believe her son had done something like that, but that victims deserved to be heard. My dad didn't respond to me directly, but sent a message to Megan in the group chat saying he was very sorry for what had happened and that the family supported her. Jake called me, and when I answered, he told me he didn't know what to think, that on one hand I was his brother, but on the other hand Megan had no reason to lie about something like this, that maybe I had drunk too much and didn't remember things well, that maybe I should seek help, as if I was the problem, as if I had done something wrong when everything was a fucking lie. Amy was the only one who believed me without doubting for a second. She told me she knew it was a lie, that she had been there, that she knew me, that Megan was obviously lying for some reason we'd probably never understand. But the rest of my family, the people who are supposed to have known me since I was born, who saw me grow up, who know what kind of person I am, they all decided to believe Megan without even giving me the benefit of the doubt. And that was what hurt me the most. More than the accusation itself, it was realizing that my own family was willing to believe me, capable of something like that without any proof, without any evidence, just based on Megan's word and her dramatic post. I tried to talk to my mom a few days later. I called her like 10 times until she finally answered. I explained everything to her again. I told her that Amy could confirm I hadn't done anything, that it was all a lie, that I didn't understand why Megan was doing this, but that I needed her, my mother, to believe me. She just kept saying it was very difficult for her, that she didn't know what to think, that both of us were her family, and that this was destroying her. I asked her directly, "Do you think I'm capable of doing something like that?" And there was a long silence. Too long. And then she said, "I don't know, Michael. People do weird things sometimes. Maybe you were drunk. Maybe you don't remember well." She hung up on me after that, and I didn't hear from her again for months. My dad was worse in a way because he simply didn't respond to me. I'd send him messages, call him. Nothing. It was like I had ceased to exist for him. Jake sent me a message like a week after the incident saying he had decided to stay neutral, that he wasn't going to take sides, that he hoped everything would be resolved, but that for the moment he needed space. Neutral. As if there were two valid sides in a situation where one of them was completely false. I decided to cut all contact with all of them. I wasn't going to beg my family to believe me. I wasn't going to degrade myself like that. If after 29 years of knowing me, they could believe me capable of something like that without any proof, then they didn't deserve to be in my life. I blocked everyone on social media, changed my phone number, told Amy to please not give them any information about me if any of them tried to contact her. I basically completely isolated myself from them. The first few months were horrible. I'm not going to lie. I cried more than I had cried in my entire adult life. I felt betrayed, angry, confused, lost. It was like my complete identity had crumbled because a big part of who I was connected to my family, and suddenly that didn't exist anymore. I started going to therapy because Amy convinced me, and honestly, it was the best thing I could have done. My therapist helped me process the pain, the betrayal, the injustice of it all. She helped me understand that I hadn't done anything wrong, that my family's reaction said more about them than about me. Amy was my rock through all of this. She never doubted me, not for a second. She supported me in everything, accompanied me to therapy when I needed it, distracted me when I was at my worst moments. She was just there. I don't know what I would have done without her. I probably would have sunk completely. I also reconnected with some college friends I hadn't been seeing as much, and they were amazing too. I didn't tell them all the details. I just told them I had had family problems and that I needed support, and they were there without asking uncomfortable questions. I joined the gym because I needed to get the anger out somehow, and it ended up being super therapeutic. I started going 5 times a week, got in the best shape of my life, and that helped me feel more in control of something, you know? When everything else in your life is chaos, at least you can control how much weight you lift or how many miles you run. I also started focusing more on my work, got a promotion like 4 months after all this, and that made me feel like at least something in my life was going well. Little by little, I started rebuilding my life without my family. I'm not going to say it was easy or that I didn't miss them, because that would be a lie. I missed my mom. I missed family dinners. I missed having that support network that family is supposed to give you. But I also realized that I could be happy without them, that I could build my own family with Amy and my friends, that I didn't need people in my life who were willing to believe me, capable of horrible things without evidence. Then, like 6 months after the whole disaster, one random day in September, I think, I received a message request on Facebook from Megan. I had her blocked everywhere, but apparently she had created a new account or something because the message arrived in my requests folder. I left it there unread for like 2 days, because honestly I didn't want to know what else she had to say. But curiosity got the better of me and I finally opened it. The message was long, like an essay, and basically said that she was very sorry, that she had made a terrible mistake, that she knew what she had done was wrong, that I had never done anything to her at that barbecue, that she had made everything up. She said she had been going through a difficult time in her life, that her boyfriend had left her right before the barbecue and that she was angry at the world, that she saw that I was happy with Amy and that for some sick reason she decided to destroy that. She said she had thought it would be something small, that she just wanted to cause a little drama, but that she didn't expect things to get so out of control, that she understood if I never forgave her, but that she needed me to know the truth, that she had told the family she had been wrong, that she had misinterpreted things, that basically everything had been a misunderstanding. She didn't say directly that she had lied, but that she had misinterpreted the situation, that she had been in a dark mental place and that she had seen things that weren't there. I read the message 3 times, trying to process what I was reading. Part of me wanted to feel relief, like, finally the truth had come out. Finally there was vindication. But the other part of me just felt incredible rage. Misinterpreted things. As if that was an excuse. As if there was a way to misinterpret that someone sexually harassed you, when literally nothing happened. She had ruined my relationship with my family, made me go through 6 months of hell, made me doubt myself, cost me probably years of my life in stress and anxiety, and all because she was sad about a breakup and wanted attention. I didn't respond to her. I had nothing to say to her that wasn't insults, and honestly, she didn't even deserve that. I blocked her on that account too, and moved on with my life. But then, like a week after that message, my mom called me. She used a friend's number, because I had blocked her original number. I answered because I didn't recognize the number and thought it was from work. When I heard her voice, my first instinct was to hang up, but something made me stay on the line. She immediately started crying, saying she was so sorry, that she had made a terrible mistake, that Megan had told her the truth, that she should have believed me from the beginning, that she was a horrible mother, that she understood if I never forgave her, but that please, give her a chance to explain. I told her there was nothing to explain, that she had chosen to believe Megan over me without any proof, that she had abandoned me when I needed her most, that she had treated me like a criminal for 6 months without even giving me the benefit of the doubt. She kept crying and saying she was sorry, that she had been scared, that society always says you have to believe victims, and that she thought she was doing the right thing. I told her that I had been the victim in this situation, not Megan, and that she had chosen the wrong side. After that call, Jake sent me a long message apologizing. He said he had been a coward, that he should have supported me, that he always knew deep down that I wasn't capable of doing something like that, but that he had been afraid to go against the family. I responded, telling him I appreciated the apology, but that I needed time to decide if I wanted to rebuild our relationship. I wasn't ready to forgive that easily. My dad called like 2 days later. The conversation was short, but intense. He basically said he was sorry, that he had failed as a father, that he should have supported me. I asked him why he hadn't, and he didn't have a good answer. He just said he had panicked, that he didn't know how to handle the situation. I told him that wasn't enough, that a father should support his son especially when things get tough, and that he had turned his back on me when I needed him most. He accepted everything I said to him and didn't try to defend himself, which I guess was the right thing to do. My Aunt Lisa sent me a formal email apologizing. She said she had kicked Megan out of her house after she confessed, that she couldn't believe her daughter had done something so horrible, that she had also been a victim of Megan's lies. I didn't respond to her because honestly, I didn't care about her situation. She had called me a monster, had treated me like trash, and now she wanted me to feel sorry for her because her daughter had deceived her too. Through Ryan, a cousin who had stayed mostly out of all the drama and who contacted me through LinkedIn, I found out that Megan's life had completely fallen apart. Apparently, after confessing, she had lost her job because the story had reached her employer somehow. Her mom had kicked her out of the house, her new boyfriend had left her when he found out what she had done, and basically the whole family had rejected her. Ryan told me all this, like expecting me to feel sorry or something, but all I felt was cold satisfaction. Karma, I guess. She had tried to ruin my life with her lies, and now she was facing the consequences of her actions. I'm not going to lie and say it didn't give me a certain joy to know she was suffering. I know that probably makes me a bad person or whatever, but after what she put me through, after the months of hell I lived because of her, I can't feel compassion for her. She played with fire and got burned, and honestly, she deserves every consequence she's facing now. As for my family, I've started rebuilding relationships with some of them, but very slowly and with lots of boundaries. I see my mom like once a month for coffee, but the relationship isn't the same anymore, and probably never will be. There's a crack there that I don't know if it will ever completely heal. Jake and I talk from time to time. He's making a real effort to reconnect, and I appreciate that. But there's also a certain distance now that didn't exist before. My dad and I have a cordial but superficial relationship. We talk about trivial things like the weather or work, but we never touch on deep or emotional topics. Most of the extended family, including my Aunt Lisa, are basically dead to me. I have no interest in rebuilding those relationships. Ryan is the only cousin I keep in contact with because he was one of the few who didn't judge me immediately, even though he didn't actively defend me either. But at least he didn't attack me. Amy and I are still together and stronger than ever. She proposed to me like a month ago. Yes, she to me, because she's amazing like that. And obviously I said yes. We're getting married next year, something small and intimate with our closest friends. I invited my mom, Jake, and my dad, but I made it very clear that if any of them causes drama or mentions Megan in any capacity, I'll personally kick them out. They said they understood and would respect my boundaries. Life is weird, you know? 8 months ago, I thought my life was over, that I'd never recover from this betrayal, that I'd always carry this false accusation like a dark shadow. And in a way, I still carry it. There's a part of me that will always be angry about what happened, about how my family abandoned me so easily. But I also realize that I don't need people in my life who are willing to believe me, capable of horrible things without evidence, not even if those people are my biological family. I've built a new family with Amy, with my friends, with the people who did support me when things got tough. And that family is more real and stronger than any blood connection. I still go to therapy. I'll probably keep going for a good while because there's a lot to process and heal, but I'm in an infinitely better place than I was 8 months ago. As for Megan, I heard through Ryan that she's living with a friend now, working at a call center or something like that, and basically she's a pariah in the family. No one talks to her. No one invites her to family events. She's completely alone. Part of me, a small and probably more mature part, feels a bit sorry for her. She obviously had mental or emotional problems to do what she did, and now she's paying a very high price for that. But the bigger part of me, the part that spent 6 months in hell because of her lies, feels she completely deserves it. I don't know if I'll ever be able to completely forgive my family for how they handled all this. Maybe with time and more therapy, I can get to a place of acceptance, but complete forgiveness. I don't know if it's possible. The trust that was broken was deep, fundamental, and that kind of trust isn't easily rebuilt. My mom cries every time we see each other, apologizing over and over, and I accept her apologies, but I can't tell her that everything is okay, because it's not. What I do know is that I'm stronger now than I was before all this. I went through probably the worst thing that's happened to me in my life, and I survived. I didn't just survive, I came out the other side with clarity about who I am and what kind of people I want in my life. I no longer tolerate half measures. I don't tolerate people who support me only when it's convenient. Either you're with me or you're not, and if you're not, that's fine, but you have no place in my life. Amy told me the other day that she's proud of how I handled everything, that I didn't let the situation destroy me, that I built something better from the ashes, and that means more to me than any apology from my family, because it comes from someone who knows me deeply, who saw me at my worst moments, and who chose to stay. That's the family that matters, the one you choose, not necessarily the one you got by birth. There are still bad days. Days where I wake up angry thinking about everything that happened, about how unfair it was, about how a single lie could cause so much damage. But those days are becoming less frequent. And when they come, Amy is there to remind me how far I've come. Everything I've accomplished despite everything. And that, I guess, is enough for now.